and I had his diapers right here.
What kind of parent cradles the fragile frame of their newborn, feels the faint rhythm of his chest rising and falling, hears the soft cries that simply beg for safety, yet chooses harm instead of protection? What kind of mother and father stare into eyes filled with innocence, knowing each breath could be his last, and still allow danger to swallow him whole? What kind of parents dial the police, plead for help, beg the world to search, while silently knowing their child will never be found alive? The truth is brutal, their baby was already gone. Taken not by fate, not by strangers, but by the very people meant to protect him. This is breaking news. Jake Haro, the father of 7-month-old Emanuel, has confessed. He admitted he killed his son, then threw his body away in a trash bin. 9 days before the world even knew Emanuel was missing, before posters went up, before neighbors searched, before strangers prayed, his parents had already woven a lie. A false story crafted to hide a crime that can never be undone. Think about that. A helpless infant, unable to defend himself, relying completely on the two people who should have loved him above all. Instead, they betrayed him. They looked away when he needed them most. They cried for cameras, while the truth was already buried. Tonight, we unravel that story. We'll trace the path that led to this unthinkable tragedy, the missed warning signs, the neglect ignored, and the choices that destroyed a life barely begun. We'll look at the history of abuse, the system that failed to stop it, and the deliberate actions of two parents that ended their child's future. But first, subscribe and turn on notifications. Stories like Emanuel's must not fade into silence. Justice begins with bearing witness, with refusing to look away. Because this is more than one child's story. It's a question we all must face: if this could happen to Emanuel, could it happen to any child? Before Emanuel, there was another baby. In 2018, Jake Haro and his ex-wife were charged with the abuse of an infant named Carolina. She was under a year old when her tiny body was shattered by cruelty. Healing fractures in her ribs, a skull fracture, brain bleeding, damaged tissue, and a broken leg, every injury a silent scream that no one heard in time. Carolina lived, but at a devastating cost. She would never walk freely. She would never run through fields. She would never reach for her parents without pain. She was left permanently bedridden, a living reminder of what happens when a child is betrayed by those who should protect them. Prosecutors fought hard. They showed evidence, witness testimony, medical reports, horrific photos. They demanded prison. Yet in 2023, a visiting judge chose leniency. Instead of jail, Jake got probation and 180 days of work release. District Attorney Michael Hestron later said with anger, if that judge had done his job, Emanuel would be alive today. And he was right. This wasn't a moment of anger or one mistake. Jake had already proven capable of destroying life. Yet the system gave him freedom, and with it, another chance to harm. That decision paved the road to Emanuel's death. On August 14, 2025, Emanuel's story shattered the internet. His mother, Rebecca Haro, made a frantic call to police. She claimed she had been knocked unconscious while changing her son's diaper in a parking lot, and that Emanuel was kidnapped. The nation froze. Within hours, the news spread. Missing posters appeared. Search parties formed. Strangers lit candles, neighbors prayed, television crews captured vigils. Social media overflowed with hope for a 7-month-old baby who had barely begun life. But behind the cameras, Emanuel was already gone. His parents knew. The kidnapping was a lie, a cruel script designed to mislead, to buy time, to manipulate hearts. Forensic investigators later revealed Emanuel's injuries showed a pattern of abuse. He likely died between August 5th and 14th, long before anyone knew he was missing. Every tearful interview, every plea for help, was an act. The cruelest part. While the community searched with love and desperation, Emanuel had no chance of being found alive. Detectives began to see the cracks. Rebecca's story didn't add up. No evidence of a struggle, no witnesses to an abduction. The details sounded rehearsed. Search warrants were executed, cadaver dogs brought in, vehicles seized. Suspicion grew. The truth was closing in. Then came the breaking point. Jake confessed. He admitted killing his son and discarding his body. The illusion of hope collapsed. Emanuel was gone, his tiny body still unrecovered, but the truth undeniable. Both Jake and Rebecca were charged with murder, and with filing a false police report that deceived not only police, but an entire nation. Bail was set at $1 million each. For Emanuel, there was no second chance, no tomorrow. Inside the courtroom, past failures came crashing down. District Attorney Hestron reminded the court of Jake's past: fractured bones, brain injury, lifelong damage inflicted on another baby. A judge's choice for leniency had led directly here. Hestron's words were sharp: if that judge had done his job, Emanuel would be alive today. But this was not only Jake's crime. Rebecca played her part, standing before cameras as a grieving mother, pleading for help, while knowing the truth. Together, they built a facade of innocence, manipulating an entire community while hiding their darkest secret. The courtroom was more than legal proceedings. It was a mirror, showing how systems fail, how warnings go ignored, how a child can be left unprotected until it is too late. Emanuel lived for just 7 months. 7 months of soft cries, small breaths, and fragile gestures, all silent pleas for protection. Pleas that were never answered. His parents silenced him forever. And we are left with the questions: how could two parents betray their child so completely? How could a system fail so absolutely? And how many children right now are living in the same danger, waiting for someone to notice before it's too late? Emanuel's voice is gone. But his story cannot be. His memory must not fade. Justice for Emanuel is not a moment, it is a process, a pursuit, a responsibility. Every update, every truth uncovered, is part of honoring his short life and ensuring accountability. Do not forget Emanuel. Do not let his story slip into silence. Each time you share, each time you stay informed, you stand against cruelty, deception, and injustice. Together, we demand that no child's life be so easily stolen again. Subscribe, stay with us, and continue as we follow every step toward justice. Because justice for Emanuel cannot be delayed. It cannot be ignored. And it will not be denied.